guys, and welcome back to my channel. The case that I'm going to be looking into today is the shocking and quite frankly bizarre murder of a 29-year-old woman while she was outside of her home setting up a garage sale. It's the case of Elizabeth Barraza. This case was suggested by Brittany, so thank you for that. I appreciate any suggestions you guys have, and if you have any more, do let me know. I found this one really interesting and really quite shocking. Elizabeth Barraza was born in 1990 to her mother, Rosemary Noel, and her father, Robert Noel Jr. I couldn't really find too much about her childhood, but she adored science fiction from being such a young age. She loved Star Wars, she loved Harry Potter, and that was kind of nurtured by her father. She was really creative and had this really good imagination, and she really loved arts and crafts, and so that would just fit in with her creativity and imagination. She could do so much with it. She was really good at it. As she grew older, she discovered that there was this entire community of people that also loved the kinds of things that she did, like science fiction, and who really enjoyed dressing up in costumes of their favourite characters and things like that. In her adult life, she was a very compassionate woman, and she wanted to live her life to the fullest. She would go in and partake in cosplays and Comic-Con and dress up in her favourite Star Wars villains and things like that, and that was where she became quite close to a man called Sergio Barraza. They both shared their love of Star Wars and Harry Potter, and they just got on like a house on fire. So much so that in winter of 2014 she married him. He became her husband, and then in 2016 they bought their home together, 8623 Cedar Walk Drive. That was in Tomball in Texas. By all accounts, they were very happily married. Everything was just seemingly perfect in their marriage, and their relationship was just amazing. The pair would travel around America like annually to go to Comic-Con and stuff like that, and that would allow Liz to showcase off her imagination and her crafting skills, because she would make their costumes herself. Liz was a geek, and I don't mean to anything bad by that. I'm a geek myself, you know, I'm into all that kind of things myself. Well, maybe not the outfits, but I love science fiction, and, you know, I'm into all of that kind of thing, so I'm not saying it in a bad way. That's just how, you know, we're described, I guess. Elizabeth was commonly known as Liz, and she would literally give up her own time for anyone. She was just such a caring, giving woman. She would often partake in charity events and just generally help people where she could. The pair didn't have children together, but they did share their home with their little dog. Liz worked as a data reporter for a pipeline inspection company, and in her free time she would be, as part of this charity group, going around to hospitals and visiting sick children in like Star Wars villains outfits to try and cheer them up and just raise money for charity and things like that. That was done as being part of this group called the 501st Legion. This legion consists of over 14,000 volunteers who use their costumes and cosplaying skills to go to charities, to go to hospitals, visiting sick children and even adults, raising money for research effort, medical fundraisers, and just to help in the goal to battle countless diseases. It was such a good thing that they did, and, you know, she did it whenever she could. Whenever she wasn't in work, she was doing things like that. So now we're getting up to closer to when the case happened. Sergio and Liz had been married for 5 years nearly, and to celebrate that, they decided that they were going to go on holiday, and they were going to go to Orlando in Florida to, you guessed it, the Universal Studios. And in typical Liz style, she set about making her costumes for both of them for the trip. Now obviously Florida is not a cheap holiday, and so they pretty much maxed out their budget on this holiday, and she decided that she wanted to buy her husband a few extra gifts while she was there. So the couple thought about doing a garage sale, taking some old things from around the house that they didn't really need anymore, selling it for a bit of extra cash just so that they had a bit more money for spends. So she took the day off work on Friday the 25th of January in 2019. She was due to go they were both due to go on the 27th. They'd already packed the bags and everything. They were ready. They just wanted to get this garage sale done so that they could get their extra bit of cash. They'd not really told many people about it, apparently, like a few close friends, co-workers, and family. That was it. You know, nobody else really knew about this sale. They didn't put it on Facebook or anything like that to broadcast it to the entire world. The night before, they discussed that Sergio would get up early. Obviously, he was still going to work. He'd not booked the day off. He was still due to go to work, and Liz was going to get up with him so that she could set up early. She was going to make these signs so that people in the area knew that she was having a garage sale, because again, she'd not really told anyone. So that's what she does. She gets up early with Sergio and she gathers her things together to create these signs as Sergio's getting ready for work. She goes outside with her husband. He climbs into the truck, and as this is happening, CCTV cameras capture this 2013 or newer 4-door dark coloured Nissan Frontier Pro 4X drive around the suburb. This truck isn't recognised by anyone, so it's not like somebody that lives close in the area or it has been seen before, especially at such early hours. At around 6:48 AM, Sergio kisses Liz and says his goodbyes, and then he sets off for work. And that is also captured by CCTV cameras from people's houses. Over the next 4 minutes, Liz gets her stuff together and she begins to create the signs. She takes them out into the front garden. And at around 6:52 AM, that same car, the dark coloured Nissan Frontier that was caught on security cameras earlier, it's caught again. The truck drives up to another person's driveway and parks up. In the CCTV footage, you see someone get out from the driver's seat and walk towards the spot where Liz is setting up a sign. This person looks like they're wearing what could either be a trench coat or a long robe. This person shows her something and then pulls out a gun. Liz can be seen stepping back, but she doesn't make any attempt to run away. A mere 8 seconds pass of a brief hushed conversation that we don't know what was said in. This person begins to shoot Liz. She is shot 3 times in the chest. She falls to the ground, and then this unknown assailant stands over her and fires a 4th and final execution shot into Liz's head before sprinting back to their truck and just driving on out of there. A man heard the shots. He comes running out. One of the neighbours finds out what's happened and immediately calls 911. Another neighbour comes out and they call Sergio to tell him that his wife had literally just been shot. Less than 10 minutes later, Sergio returns. You know, he'd not set off long ago and he wasn't that far away. He rushes back to his critically injured wife as she lays there on the ground bleeding out. She is rushed to hospital and she did make it there alive, amazingly. She obviously was a fighter and she fought hard. She made it through the night, but unfortunately the very next day she passed away as a result of her injuries. She was 29 years old. And that would have been on the Saturday the 26th of January 2019, a mere 1 day before she was due to go on her trip of a lifetime, her dream vacation. Police began their investigation, and that is where they found obviously the CCTV footage of it all happening that records Liz's final moments. They also found the Barraza's doorbell footage, which they didn't release until like a year or two later. I'll get more into that later on. But the CCTV footage was released to the media in the hopes that it would spark something or that someone would come forward or recognise something. The problem was the footage was really far away and it was really grainy and you can't really tell, like, make out things. Obviously tips did pour in, but unfortunately they didn't lead to anywhere. Since the suspect pulled in just before Sergio was leaving, like, you know, not long before he was leaving, and then waited there until he actually left before they approached Liz, it looked like she was the target. It wasn't some random thing and they had waited for him to leave before they went over to her. The police said that the suspect drove off and then circled back around to make sure that Elizabeth was dead before they then left. I mean, obviously she wasn't dead at the time. She didn't die until the next day, but they probably thought she wouldn't survive. The police said that whoever carried out this attack was seemingly aware of the Ring doorbell security camera, whatever it's called. I don't know what them things are called. They seemed to know that Elizabeth was off work that day, and they said that they hadn't ruled anyone out as a suspect. It was also not a robbery gone wrong because nothing was taken. This literally There was like $100 in a box on the table that was still there. Nothing else was taken. This person literally got out of the car, shot her 4 times, and then ran off. Well, after they made sure that she was definitely deceased. Of course, during the investigation, Sergio was a suspect. They looked into their electronics and things like that. They didn't find any evidence that any of them were having an affair. Not that that is proof that they weren't, because it could have just been, you know, kept on the down low, but they didn't find any evidence of it there. And normally in these cases, it's more often than not, unfortunately, the husband. But they didn't find anything that pointed to them being unhappy in the marriage, unfaithful, anything like that. So with regards to Sergio, I don't know. It's also speculated that somebody could have hired somebody else to make the hit. And that if that was the case, maybe it was Sergio. Maybe he had planned it all and he had hired somebody to kill his wife because he was having an affair. He told them all the details, he left, you could see it on the camera, and then he was out of the picture and his alibi was clear, and then his wife was killed. That is just speculation. We do not know. We still do not know what happened to Liz. What we do know is that Sergio has been highly cooperative with the police and he still speaks to them to this day. And they obviously have like no evidence to put him. They've not ruled anybody out, but you know, he's not like a main suspect in the case or anything like that. So let's talk about the suspect. When I first saw this video, I thought it looked personally like a woman. And that is something that is really debated on, because some see a man wearing a costume, possibly a wig. Others think, like me, it's a woman wearing some sort of robe or a trench coat. Their appearance has been likened to the outfit of Princess Leia and that of Luke Skywalker. Although police did all these interviews with people, they followed up on all the tips that came in. They had the car, like the make, the everything of the car. They had footage of it driving in. They literally have footage of the shooting. The case went nowhere and it went cold. I have not personally shown the shooting because I've watched it. It is out there to be watched. The police released it all. You can't really see very much. Obviously it's grainy and it is very like zoomed out, but you see the shots and you see a fall, and personally I didn't want to put that in this video, but it is out there. If you guys do want to go and look it up, you will be able to find it. In January of 2020, a warrant was filed by the Harris County Sheriff's Office. They said that this might have the answers to Liz's case. What was in these warrants isn't publicly known, and we have yet to hear anything from those. So I do not know whether they were the key to a case, whether they're still looking into those or not. Just heard nothing about it. It is speculated that maybe it could be some sort of GPS from phone locations to see who was in the area at that time, but again, I don't know, that's just speculation. In July of the same year, the police provided like the latest update that I could find on the case. After analysing the surveillance footage from the Ring camera in the doorbell thing, they confirmed that Liz can be heard cheerfully saying good morning to her killer. They then talk very hushedly for 8 seconds. You cannot make out anything else. And they did release this audio, so I will put it up in the video for you guys to hear yourself. They believe that this proves that Elizabeth didn't know who her killer was. That the good morning she said was just like a generic one. It wasn't one you would say to somebody you know or your friend or something like that. It was just something you would, like the tone of it was sounded like you would say to someone in passing, like that you didn't know. They think that at least 2 people were involved, and that the reason the car circled back was to confirm to the other person in the car that, you know, the job had been carried out. We say that it is suspected she didn't know this person, but you know, it was really early. Maybe she didn't think that she knew this person. Initially said the good morning to them, and then as they got closer realised that she did know them. Anything is a possibility in this case. Anything. And again, what was said in those 8 seconds, we have no idea and possibly never will. So, theories. Many people do believe it was Sergio. He obviously knew that he had the doorbell security camera with the audio, so he knew to stay away from that. He knew she was off work that day, and of course, if she would have had work, she already would have left by then. It's really speculated that how did the killer know all of this, unless, you know, he told them, kind of thing. Another theory is that possibly she had some sort of stalker. The thing with this though is that the car hasn't been seen in the neighborhood before, like, at all, and if she had a stalker, you'd think that it would be seen a lot more because they would be at a house and things stalking her. But then there's a possibility that they used a different car for that too. It was really said that with regards to this theory that there would have to be a huge amount of dumb luck, and this horrific killing seems to be more calculated and intentional rather than just dumb luck. Was it someone that she told about this garage sale, like a co-worker or a friend? They did look into all of those people, but maybe that person hired somebody to kill her, or maybe they hired themselves a car. Because obviously they don't have that kind of car, but maybe they hired it to go and carry out this kill because they knew that if they drove in their car, they would be recognised. Was it someone from her other half of her life, like Comic-Con or the Legion? Did she unwittingly annoy someone from there and they decided that extremely that they would hire someone to kill her or murder her themselves? And I mean, the likening of a costume and things makes me more think along the lines of someone with regards to Comic-Con, because obviously they dress up and things like that. But it might not have been, you know, it's literally theories and speculation. None of this has proved to be true. I've also seen a lot of chatter around the video that a lot of people have said that, you know, this person, the killer, shows Liz something before they shoot her, before they talk to her, they like show her something. Maybe that was a note or a photo. I have also seen rumours, and let me just reiterate that those are rumours, that a note was left behind at the scene. It is something that Sergio doesn't know what it contains, apparently. But the problem here, though, is that it's not being ever mentioned by officials and like the police or anything like that. So I don't know if it's the case, I don't know if it's true, just take that with a pinch of salt because they've not mentioned it. Might be a case that they're withholding it from the public, you know, because they don't want to let the killer know that they have that. Or it might just not be true at all. So, what do you guys think of this one? I found this case really shocking and really tragic. She was literally outside of her home doing a garage sale, and then she was shot dead in her own front garden. And it's just mind-blowing how this person hasn't been caught yet. I get it, okay, the footage, we have them on footage, and it's all grainy, and you can't really see anything. You can't tell who it is. But it's just, you literally have her being murdered on camera, and we're still no closer to solving it. Such a tragic loss of a young life who was such a caring and giving person. I truly hope that this case gets solved soon, but for now the Tomball garage sale murder remains unsolved. That is the end of the case. If you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to join the pack. To all my regulars, thank you, I appreciate you so much. Anyway guys, that's all I have today on the case of Elizabeth Barraza. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.